Okay. Shabbat Shalom, Israel. Welcome back to the Hebrew Chosen Elect Sabbath class. Let's get those turned down, please. All cell phone devices on mute. Let me start by giving all praise, glory, and honor Yahweh by Shem Mashiach, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh being the true name of Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai, Mashiach being the true name in the Hebrew of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus the Christ. Once again, welcome back. We'll be picking right back up this week in our regular reading, Book of Deuteronomy. This week, chapter 12, probably to about 15 or 16. Most High willing. Don't really got anything I want to start off with. You got the upcoming new moons and high holy days on hand.
I do. Send it to you, or read it?
I'm about to see it because I'm gonna go over that real quick. While I pull that up, just everybody go ahead and get their Bibles to Deuteronomy chapter 12. And I got it. You ain't gotta send it. So just real quick, we've been skipping this part, but we have it updated. So upcoming new moons. We're in the month of July, so the next we just started August today, right? So the next new moon will be August the 14th at sundown. August 14th at sundown, followed by September 12th and October 12th, all at sundown. Upcoming high holy days is getting close, so you want to start putting aside money to bring these high holy days in the right way. Feast of Trumpets, September 12th at sundown. So that Feast of Trumpets also falls on the new moon, first day of the month. So that's September 12th. So new moon and our first high holy day of, if you want to call it the feast season. Feast of Trumpets, September the 12th, followed by Day of Atonement, the 21st, same month, sundown, followed by Feast of Tabernacles, same month, the 26th to October the 4th, starting at sundown. Then you got Hanukkah and Purim. We look forward to seeing you there. If you'd like to donate to the camp, just to help out with the ministry, or to put towards these help us put together these upcoming feast days. The while in advance, go ahead and send those through Cash App or in person. Cash App at hashtag Hebrew Chosen Elect. It's going across the bottom of the screen. And just earmark it, whether it's regular camp alms or feast day alms. So that's it for announcements. If you need to get in contact with me or Yakanan, the phone number's on the bottom of the screen. You want to join camp, have any questions, want us to do a class, hit us up, let us know. But yes, without further ado, let's go into this reading. Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 12. Who's going to be reading today? Go ahead and when you're ready, bring that out. Chapter 12, verse 1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 12, verse 1. These are the statutes and judgments which ye shall observe to do in the land which Yahweh thy power of thy fathers giveth thee to possess it, all the days that ye live upon the earth. Ye shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations which ye shall possess serve their gods, upon the high mountains and upon the hills, and under every green tree. And ye shall overthrow their altars and break their pillars and burn their groves with fire. And ye shall hew down the graven images of their gods and destroy the names of them out of the place. Ye shall not do so unto Yahweh your power.
Yep. So with the Most High, with Yahweh, it's not like America have us following everybody right to their own beliefs. Just a melting pot of different religions and mosques and synagogues and churches and
wicked holidays.
It's not a this isn't a blender of different beliefs. So we was to put down all the residue of every form of worship that the other nations was keeping, that we was coming in and displacing from the land of Canaan, which is the land that Yahweh gave unto Abraham, Isaac, and our forefather Jacob, right? So obviously we're not in Israel no more. We're in the land of our captivity, but we can be getting to that now by putting off these customs through rebuke, through bringing out the truth, and through coming out of them ourselves in the following of them and coming back to the right worship of the Most High and following His ways. You know what I'm saying? So we can spiritually cast down the wicked imaginations, like the Scripture says in Corinthians. And looks like you about to go to that. You was about to go to it, casting down the strongholds.
I was trying to see something real quick.
But yeah, we can be doing that even here in the land of our captivity by just continuing to bring forth the true word of God, the true teaching, continue to come back to our true heritage, nationality, and quote unquote religion, just simply obeying the Most High God, the only one religion. All these things are works of casting down these different belief systems and worshiping of false gods that's covering the earth today through Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, whatever you can name, atheism, scientism, apologism, whatever you follow that's not thus saith the Lord, obey and have life, right? But you want to grab that, or we want to keep reading?
You want to bring out? I was grabbing something else, but
you want to bring out what you got, or no?
Yeah, we can bring it up. I was going on Ezra chapter 9, and I was going to start at verse 1.
All right, hold up.
And,
let me get it.
Okay.
I mean, you can expound while I get it, but
all right. Ezra chapter 9. We was in I believe we're coming out of Babylonian captivity, and we started making marriages with women of other nations, but we wasn't making them put off their customs. We became joined to them, and we started taking on their customs, and it made us become polluted with their abominations. Yeah, I mean, we had to start taking on their gods. So sins and stuff will multiply in the nation of Israel because we was doing according to their customs instead of following our customs. In Nehemiah, he also further expounds on it because it shows that the children they didn't even know the language of the Hebrews, but they learned the languages of the other nations, and they started taking on their gods and customs and so on and so forth. But I wanted to read down I think about 7 or 9. I'm not sure. Yeah, down to 7.
All right.
It says, now when these things were done, the princes came to me saying, the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the land, doing according to their abominations. That means they was taking on our customs. And if you bring it up to today, we're doing the same thing right now. Yeah, I mean, we're polluting ourselves with the customs of so-called white man. We try to be like the Asian man. They got our children in school. They can celebrate Diwali when they go back to school, taking on the Indian man's customs. These are customs and abominations that are customs that give tributes to other gods, and we got to move ourselves away from these things. And the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the lands, doing according to their abominations, even of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Ammonites, and the Moabites, the Egyptians and the Amorites, for they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Yea, the hand of the princes and the rulers have been chief in this trespass. And a lot of our leaders and stuff are chief in this trespass. Bring it up to their game. You see the athletes and the people on television. First thing they get on they take on the abominations of taking the daughter of another nation, and they start to take on their customs even more. And then they're not going to teach our children who we are. They're not going to help refine our culture because we're in captivity. Because if we were doing things the right way, they would have to put off their customs. They would have to put off their philosophies, and they have to put on our ways, which is the law, statutes, and commandments. And here in this parable, they're not doing these things. And you bring up that today, we're not doing those things. And a lot of people don't want to take on our customs. When we tell them that they doing something wrong, they think that we're trying to take away their salvation, when really we trying to bring them to the salvation of coming back to the law, statutes, and commandments. And when I heard this thing, verse 3, and when I heard these things, I rent my garment and my mantle, and plucked off the hair off of my head and of my beard, and sat down and stoned me. Then were assembled unto me every one that trembled at the words of Yahweh of Israel, because of the transgression of those that had been carried away. And I sat and studied until the evening sacrifice. And at the evening sacrifice, I rose up from my heaviness, and having rent my garment and my mantle, I fell upon my knees and spread out my hands unto Yahweh, my power, and said, O my power, I am ashamed and blessed to lift up my face to thee, my power, for our iniquities are increased over our head, and our trespass is grown up unto the heavens. Since the days of our fathers have we been in great trespass unto this day, and for our iniquities have we, our kings and our priests, been delivered into the hand of the kings of the lands, to the sword, to captivity, and to the spoil, and the confusion of face as it is this day. And if you look at the state today, we're delivered into the hands of our enemies. Mm-hmm. You see police still slaughtering us. You see that we're taking on their customs. They're trying to give us all type of inoculations that we don't need. They try to get us out of here and exterminate us. They poisoning our food. Yeah, I mean, we eat our food, our bread, the Father amongst the Gentiles. These things are happening to this day because we refuse to go back to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. And we're not looking at the things that our forefathers was going through at all. We refuse to pick up this book and see what's going on within the confines of the scriptures so that we can, in turn, go back and get these things right. And that's what we need to do in refining our culture.
Mm-hmm. God.
That's it.
Oh, you want to stop at 7? Yeah. I want to add one too. Kind of all facts, and also add to it 1 Corinthians 8, verse 10. Add to that point, we're being sometimes we're a little too slack on tearing down these foundations, on condoning, right? If that's the right word, others following of this stuff. How do we condone it? This is how we condone the customs of the heathen that we follow here in captivity. By we don't celebrate them, but I'll still go around my family while they celebrate. And I mean, us here, we don't, but we know that it happens all too often. Or even by trying to keep the days that are holidays that's based off of either idol worship or your destruction, like 4th of July or Thanksgiving. And I'm gonna celebrate this day, but I'm not celebrating what they celebrate. I'm gonna make it Yahushua Day, or not This isn't. I'm not celebrating the independence of America. I'm celebrating the independence of me coming out of the world day. That's what I heard the one brother say on the video for the 4th of July cookout. It's not that I'm not celebrating their independence. I'm celebrating my independence from following their beliefs. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, he said
whatever happened to.
He's celebrating us coming back to remember who we are.
Yeah, because
Independence Day.
Last time I checked, I've heard this. The one was established 1969. I got to check with the elders that's still alive. And Hold up. I never heard it. It was the 4th of July, 1969. I didn't know that. I'm sure it wasn't. But like if that's what you're gonna say, then that would have to be the day. Come on, you can't make an unclean thing clean. But these are different type of ways that you condone and you don't cast down and tear down the altars of the heathen and these idol forms of worship by like I'm not following this, but I'm gonna come around and I'm gonna fellowship with you while you take part. That's 1 foot in and 1 foot out. But let's read this First Corinthians chapter 8.
So before you read, I want to bring this up.
What is
it? Romans chapter 10, verse 3. And it says, "For they being ignorant of God's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of God." And them saying that they not putting off the customs of the heathen, they doing the same things as the heathen said. Mm-hmm. Because if you got knowledge, you dig deep, you know that America, there on July 1776, it was not free. You know what I mean? We know, according to knowledge, that they really celebrating the dog days of summer, and they celebrate when series A, B, and C is aligned with the sun, and they giving praise to Anubis or Sirius. You know what I mean? And they come from a Greek custom. So they just mashed it too. So you telling me you established your own righteousness, and then you're going to say we celebrate bringing our remembrance of who we are day. You know what I mean? When the Most High established that nowhere throughout the scriptures as one of our holy days, and you're going to do it the same day as the heathens. That means you're doing the same thing as the heathens.
Exactly. We supposed to be tearing it down. So he said in the law, when we came to Canaan, we supposed to be tearing it down, burning the altars, everything we just read, basically destroying every remembrance. And we're not doing that when we sit here and we're not keeping their holiday. We're keeping something different. No, just leave that day alone altogether. Totally rebuke the day. It's a regular, ordinary day. Unless one of God's holidays happens to fall on it, which I don't believe it's even possible for 4th of July, that not even Pentecost, don't quote me on it. But if it's not one of God's holidays that just so happens to fall on that day, it should be a regular, or the Shabbat, it should be a regular old day for us. No, it says abstain from all appearance of evil, right? So just leave it alone, because, and what we're about to read is gonna go into that also, why we're abstaining from the appearance, because the appearance of evil can have a negative effect, even if you're doing something different. You're not really following the crowd. You're keeping, quote unquote, keeping in the ways of the Most High. I'm just doing it today while everybody else does their thing. No, it don't work. Abstain from the appearance, and this is why. Read 1 Corinthians 8, verse 10, and we're gonna read down to the end of the chapter 13.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 8, verse 10. "For if any man see thee which has knowledge sit at meat in the idol's temple, shall not the conscience of him which is weak be emboldened to eat those things which are offered to idols?"
And just disclaimer, Paul isn't saying it's okay to be in idol temples, right? Paul is on a mission to bring back Israel. And he's talking about a liberty he has, and he's also having a conversation, which we don't even have the other half of the conversation. But the whole chapter, he's going into things that's been a talk or debate or questions amongst these Corinthians, and he's sending a response. So he's just giving this example, though, of if I'm sitting in the temple at meat, right? Or if you're sitting in the temple at meat. Now, you could be going to the temple for anything that's not worshiping that God. You could be going there to talk your people out of serving that idol. It could be. It doesn't say why he's in the temple, but just as a disclaimer, he's not saying it's okay to partake in idol worship. But the point is going to be later down why he still rebukes it, even if I am there and I'm not worshiping idols and I have liberty. So go ahead.
And through thy knowledge shall the weak brother perish for whom Christ died? But when ye sin so against the brethren in whom their weak conscience, ye sin against Yahushua.
Now, how might you be wounding the conscience of your weaker brother by you being in the idol temple? You're not worshiping the idol. You're there for whatever business it is you're there, and you're at liberty. Now, in the scriptures, it says he gave us liberty to build back the kingdom. So, paraphrasing. So, like I said, that might be why you're in the temple. But why would you avoid going to the temple, even though you got liberty to do so? Because it'll wound the conscience of the weaker brother. How so? Who knows how it may wound the conscience of the weaker brother?
Well, that guy's going to go in there, and he's going to think it's okay to do that.
But okay to what? Go a little further. Not just go in there, but yeah, he's gonna see you thinking, yeah, he's going in there to worship. If he can worship, yeah, if he can worship, I can worship. Right? That's how you would wound the conscience of the weaker brother, by your liberty. And you ain't going in there to take part in the worship. What you got business, whatever it is. But let's see. So what does Paul say in verse 13? Go ahead.
Verse 13. Wherefore, if meat make my brother to offend, I will eat no flesh while the world standeth, lest I make my brother to offend.
That's why the Most High say, get rid of everything. He said, even in another scripture, he said, don't use the gold that's on the idols. Right? He said, burn that, get rid of everything, all remembrance, because it's gonna be people with weak consciences that it's gonna draw them back into idolatry, into sin. So you have to get rid of all that. So in captivity here, get rid of all appearance of you, even though we can't, even though it's still around us, it's in the world. Well, the way we be in the world and we still cast it down, we burn it, we put it away. Don't take part in it at all. What you was gonna say?
I was going to an example, like during the time of the Maccabees, Antiochus Epiphanes, he had considered himself being Epiphanes, himself being God on earth. Now Eleazar, they was trying to force him to bow down to the ways of Antiochus Epiphanes and he support. Mm-hmm. But being as though that he had rapport and he knew he was going to offend his brothers, they was going to give him something clean to eat and make him pretend that it was pork. And he wouldn't even pretend that he was eating pork because he was not going to show that he had any idolization for Antiochus Epiphanes. So what he did is they shoved it in his mouth and he spit it forth. And he welcomed the torments to come because he looked at his wisdom and his gray hair. He was like, ain't no way I'm going to let this be stained. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm going to serve the Most High God, and this man is not a God on earth. And he spit it forth. He was welcoming the torments to come. You know what I mean?
Yep. Let's bring that out. Let's go. 2 Maccabees 6 and looks like 18. I'm saying because that's right. Eleazar, he understood the appearance of evil. Yeah, I'm not sinning. I'm not eating the meat, but I'm going to give this appearance off to the younger men. What they going to do? They ain't going to come up there and secretly eat clean meat. They're going to come up in there and they're going to partake in the unlawful meat.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 6, verse 18. Mm-hmm. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man, and of well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth to eat swine's flesh. Mm-hmm. But he choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such an abomination, spit it forth. They came of his own accord to the torment, as it behooved them to come that are resolute to stand out against such things as are not lawful for the love of life to be tasted. But they that had the charge that of that wicked feast, for the old acquaintance they had with the man, taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision, such as was lawful for him to use, and make as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king, that in so doing he might be delivered from death, and for the old friendship with them find favor. But he began to consider discreetly, and as became his age, and the excellency of his ancient years, and the honor of his gray hair, whereon was come and his most honest education from a child, or rather the holy law made and given by Yahweh. Therefore he answered accordingly, and willed them straightways to send him to the grave. For it becometh not our age, said he, in any wise to disassemble, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 80 years old and 10, were now gone to a strange religion. And so they, through mine hypocrisy and desire to live a long time.
It said he dissembled in his mind. He said, many young persons by seeing me eat this lawful meat, right? But pretending it to be swine's flesh. The young men, the young women would see it, and they would now go on to a strange religion by coming into following the world's ways, by following Esau's ways, his beliefs, his religion, his Christianity, his white Jesus, his commandments are done away with doctrines.
And in this instance specifically, Antiochus, like I said, he fancied himself to be a god. So this was you taking on the charge of giving worship to this man as God on earth. You know what I mean? And not bowing down to him and not succumbing to his influence, the religion of Antiochus Epiphanes. You know what I mean? So he was showing the younger men, man, look, we not coming under this, man. Who this man think he is, man? He's just another man. He's not the most high God, and he fancies himself to be a God. So we're not going to follow this man's charge. Verse 25. And so they, through my hypocrisy and desire to live a little time and a moment longer, should be deceived by me, and I get a stain to mine old age and make it abominable. For though for the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead. Wherefore now manfully changing this life, I will show myself such an one as mine age required, and leave a notable example to such as be young to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. And when he had said these words immediately, he went to the torment. They that lead him charging the good, will they bear him a little before in hatred, because the foresaid speeches proceeded as they thought from a desperate mind. But when he was ready to die with stripes, he groaned and said, it is manifest unto Yahweh that have the holy knowledge, that whereas I might have been delivered from death, I now endure sore pains in body by being beaten but in soul am well content to suffer these things, because I fear him. And thus this man died, leaving his death for an example of a noble courage and a memorial of virtue, not only unto young men, but unto all his nation.
Right. So he gave that, he even in death, he refused to give an appearance of evil. He refused to give an appearance that it's okay to condone the worships and the doctrines, the philosophies, and the rituals and the actions of the heathen nations. Go to the next chapter, chapter 7.
Verse 7.
And in doing so, I'm going to show what he did. I'm going to show what he did. We're not going to read the whole chapter. Basically, so 7 sons and their mother, they followed the same example as Eleazar. And in doing so, not only did they set down an example for us to follow, there was an effect of them being so bold and in keeping the Most High's ways and doing what's right and refusing to follow and fold and bend and follow the ways of the heathen, right? Even in death, there was power behind that. It did something. So drop to verse 37 and down. It's going to show what effect it had by them being so bold and willing to suffer these punishments just to keep the right ways of God. Go ahead.
Book of 2 Maccabees chapter 7, verse 37. But I, as my brethren, offer up my body and life for the laws of our fathers, beseeching Yahweh, that he would speedily be merciful unto our nation, that thou by torments and plagues mayest confess that he alone is the power, and that in me and my brethren the wrath of the Almighty, which is justly brought upon our nation, may cease.
Mm-hmm.
Then the king, being in a rage.
So all these actions, these valiant acts, right? They enraged the king. Because why? Because I'm doing all this. I'm putting these cats to death. I'm torturing them. I'm tearing the limbs out. I'm ripping their tongues out, ripping the skin off their flesh, doing all these things. They still won't bend to my will. They won't do what I say. Go ahead. So he's enraged.
Then the king, being in a rage, handed him worse than all the rest, and took it grievously that he was mocked.
He did what?
He took it grievously that he was mocked.
Grieved in that he was mocked. He was grieved that he was mocked. Meaning these acts were spiritually casting down, tearing down, burning up the altars, the idols, the rituals, the beliefs of the heathen. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 5.
Precept.
Precept.
The book of Sirach, chapter 30, verse 3.
Let me get it. Go ahead.
The book of Sirach, chapter 30, verse 3. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him. Mm-hmm. So us teaching them by example and leading by example and leaving behind these requirements to them bearing witness of it, this grieveth our enemy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
And revealing the facts.
Yeah.
The truths.
Yep.
Of what is each custom is, where it reverts back to, the information. Go ahead.
That's it.
But what you were saying, the teaching the sons the right way, and also the revealing of the truths behind all the different customs of the heathen, the truths behind how the Christian church became what it is today, the truths of how we've got this form of Christianity that we so heartily take part in today, or Islam, or the different folly days and all those things, right? It grieves the enemy. Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 5, because teaching our sons, teaching our people, it does something. It does, and it does what we just read. It grieves the enemy. It does what the 7 sons, Eleazar, the elder, and their mothers, the acts that they did. It grieves the enemy. All these things, they grieve the enemy, and they tear down their strongholds. In the spirit, is burning down those altars. Is crushing those idols to dust. Verse, it says 5, but start at 2.
I will just start at 1.
We'll start at 1 then.
The book of 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 1. Now I, Paul, myself beseech you by the meekness and gentleness of Yahushua, who is present and based among you, but being absent and bold toward you. But I beseech you that I may not be bold when I am present with that confidence wherewith I think to be bold against some, which think of us as if we walked according to the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh.
Right.
For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yahweh to the pulling down of strongholds.
Right. So we might be in in the world, but not of the world. Right. We might be in our enemy's lands under their jurisdiction. Right. But we still have our weapons that are spiritual. Like we might not be taking over the land. We might not be going into our inheritance and physically tearing down the residue of what they had built up physically, carnally. But we still have our spiritual weapons to cast these things down while we're in their land underneath of their rule. Verse 5.
Verse 5, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of Yahweh, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach Yahushua.
And that's where the teaching comes in. That's where bringing out the truth comes in. Bringing out the hidden knowledge comes in, right? In bringing into captivity our thoughts to the obedience of Hamashiach Yahushua. Right. And we can stop there. We can drop it there.
Cool.
But yeah, so that's how we can, even in our captivity, we can be still following these instructions of when you come into this land, the land of Canaan, what we're reading in Deuteronomy, it said that overthrow their altars, break their pillars, burn their groves with fire, hew down their graven images, destroy the names of them out of that place. We doing that when we continue to bring forth the truth, follow the truth, and bring out the lies that's been put forth in the earth by the wicked, by Esau, right? We're doing all these things in the spirit. And us doing these things in this, casting them down spiritually, as it continues to grow, the truth grows, that's going to bring in what? That's going to bring in it happening in the spirit and the physical with the return of Yahushua coming back, right? So let's go back. Deuteronomy, verse 4 or 5, I think. You read 4.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 11, verse 5. And what he did unto you in the wilderness until you came into this place. And what he did.
What verse you at?
We chapter 11, right?
12.
Chapter 12, my bad.
Verse 5.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 12, verse 5. But unto the place which Yahweh your power shall choose out of all your tribes to put his name there, even unto his habitation.
Put his name there. So he chose all the tribes, but it was already predestined. He's going to choose out a tribe out of the tribes to put his name there, meaning this is going to be ground zero, central command, where all of Israel, y'all are going to come to worship me together as one nation in this central location. While I'm still in all Israel, Con, that's what that means. Go ahead.
And there you shall eat before the Yahweh the power.
Hold up. You got to finish verse 5.
Oh, Salaki. But unto this place which Yahweh your God shall choose out of all your tribes to put his name there, even unto his habitation shall ye seek, and thither thou shalt come. And thither ye shall bring your burnt offerings and your sacrifices.
Hold up, my fault. So, my bad. Real quick. So, what tribe was that? Isaiah 48, 1-2.
The book of Isaiah 48, 1-2. Hear ye this, O house of Jacob, which are called by the name of Yasharallah, and are come forth out of the waters of Yahweh.
See, it's house of Jacob. But wait, Judah came out of Jacob, right? But here it says, "O house of Jacob, called by Israel, that have come forth out of the waters of Judah." Why is that? Because Judah is the tribe that was chosen, that he would put his name there, and that the Messiah would come out of Judah. It was all already predestined. It was already predestined. And that's why oftentimes in the New Testament, right, when it speaks of Israel, but then it speaks to Jews, and it speaks to Israel and then Gentiles, more times than not, when it's speaking to Israel, it's still speaking to Judah. And why do I say that?
Because Judah shall be the praise of all his brethren, the rise shall not depart from the house of Judah.
That's one, yes.
The Northern Kingdom had departed and came across the waters during the time of Solomon.
Yeah, and they were still right. The Northern Kingdom was over here, but not and also was still not brought back and considered Israel again yet. That's why. Unless it was those few that would come and join themselves to the Jews, right? Because you do see that. But Israel, Northern Kingdom, was still not Israel. That's part of understanding New Testament. You got to understand that. That's why Hosea said in the land where it said, "You're not my people." At this time in the New Testament, they're still not his people, but Israel is still their people. So when it refers to Israel, a lot of times it's still referring to the three tribes in Judah, because Jacob, by the name of whose name is Israel, comes forth out of the waters of Judah, right? So keep going with that, which swear by the name. Yeah, Isaiah 48:1.
Yeah. Which swear by the name of Yahweh and make mention of Yahweh, the power of Israel, but not in truth nor in righteousness.
Mm-hmm.
For they call themselves of the holy city and stay themselves upon
keyword, the holy
of Israel. The holy of Israel.
The holy city.
And stay themselves upon Yahweh of Israel. The power of hosts is his name.
Mm-hmm. But the holy city, because I could have went to other verses to show where he said, build the temple here in Judah, but I like this one because it shows that Israel also shows Israel being of Judah when all Israel's of Jacob. And it says, for they call themselves of the holy city. So what's the holy mean? Set apart. So the set apart city is where? In Judah, right? Judah being that tribe that was predestined, that would be chosen for the Most High put his name in, and for the Messiah to come out of. Because the Messiah came in what? The name of the Father. He had his name. He was his word in flesh, right? All came out of Judah. Judah was the chosen tribe from the beginning, right?
Yes, and every Jew, every Yahudim is an Israelite, but every Israelite is not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Kind of. We can drop that. Back to verse 6.
Verse 6. Until ye shall bring your burnt offerings and your sacrifices and your tithes and heave offerings of your hand and your vows and your free will offerings and the firstlings of free will offerings and your herds and of your flocks. And there ye shall eat before Yahweh your power, and ye shall rejoice in all that ye put your hand unto. Ye and your households wherein Yahweh your power hath blessed thee. Ye shall not do after all the things that we do here this day. Every man whatsoever is right in his own eyes.
You know what that's a law against? Right off top. It's a direct law against freedom of religion, freedom of choice, freedom of this, freedom of that. Yeah, it's a direct. Yup, It's a direct law and cut against this nation and what it stands for. The liberty that this country stands for doesn't in line with what's liberty in the spirit with the Most High, right? What the Christian church teaches is not in line with the laws of God. It's contrary. It's against God. It's against Yahweh. It's a law that we're not to do things whatsoever is right in our own eyes. So ain't no, oh, I think God was wrong. I was born this way. I always thought I was a girl since my earliest memory. It just so happens I got boy parts, and I can't help this. So I'm gonna be a girl, and the United States they gonna say, "Yep, you got that right. You can be whatever you want to be." That's against God. All the while talking about this is I pledge allegiance to the, I forget how it even goes, but one nation under God. Well, under which God? Because this God, the only one true God, said that we don't do whatsoever is right in our own eyes. So it ain't no, I would feel like I was supposed to be this. I'm supposed to be that.
I have a precept. This is the book of Isaiah 45, verse 9. Woe unto him that striveth with his maker.
Hold on.
Okay, Salakia.
I just want to pull it on the screen. Isaiah, where we at?
Isaiah 45, 9.
Go ahead.
Woe unto him that striveth with his maker. Let the potsherd strive with the potsherd of the earth. Shall the clay say to him that fashioned it, what makest thou? Or thy work? He have no hands. I think it's, hold up, I need to pull all that up.
Lost your spot?
Yeah, well, I just pulled out that verse, but it's probably more there.
Oh, I was looking something up. You can read it again if you don't want to expound on it. Well, it was 9.
Yeah.
But yeah, so how do you strive with your maker? How do you strive with your maker, right? Saying, what makest thou, or thy work, or he saying, what makest thou? You strive with your maker when you say, I think I should have been this. I think I should have been that. God said that men are to lie with women and reproduce, but I just feel like I was made different. He made me differently. Or he didn't mean to make me this way, but that's how I came out. And maybe he made a mistake. You striving with your maker. I got one, Proverbs 21, 2-4. All the while, all these doctrines, though, if now in these modern times, these last days, the proof of it being the last days, you can tie these beliefs in with your faith in the Most High and your following of His Son, right? Come as you are and stay as you are. No, sure. That's doing your own pleasure, what's right in your own mind. And the scripture goes even more in depth with this one, Proverbs 21, 2. Somebody bring that out.
Proverbs 21, 2. My son, if thou wilt receive my word and hide my commandments with thee, so that thou incline thy ears unto wisdom and apply thy heart to understanding. Yea, if thou criest after knowledge and lifted up thy voice for understanding.
Wait, what verse you at?
21.
I actually want a different one though.
Proverbs 21 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, let's go 14:12.
Say that again.
14:12 is the
Proverbs
one.
14:12.
I want that one. Mm-hmm.
Proverbs 14 and 12. There's a way which seems righteth unto a man, but endeth thereof are the ways of death.
Because that's the ways of death. Right? That's the ways of sin. the sting of death is sin. And the death gets the power in the law by what? By you breaking the law and doing your own will, and then bringing death. Think about it. If we all just felt like we was really made to lay with other men and women lay with other women, or to be transformers and change what we was made, how would the world go on? The world could not, the people would have to cease from existence. But that's the way it is right in your own eyes. And it's the ways of death. Right?
So I can Proverbs 16:2. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but Yahweh weigheth the spirit. The Lord deals with the word.
Mm-hmm.
I had the wrong precept. The precept that I wanted for the previous topic, doing as thy will, or like saying you was born a female, you felt like a female when you was born a male.
Mm-hmm.
It's Romans 9:20 and 21. Nay, but O man, who art thou that repliest against Yahweh? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Have not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? You know what I mean? So the Most High, he don't make mistakes. He already made you the way that you was fashioned to be. So by you going against what the Most High said, you have to come and make yourself a vessel unto dishonor.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And a vessel unto dishonor is made to be what?
Destroyed.
Destroyed. Exactly. That's the outcome of doing as we was, as it says here in Deuteronomy, doing as we do today, every man whatsoever is right in his own eyes. Cats was being put to death in the wilderness. It was coming with serious judgments of doing your own will, whatever is right in your own eyes. And that's what's coming on the earth. That's what's coming. That's why the end is fire and brimstone. That's why the end is the second death. Like, it's going to come a time where grace is over. Mercy is over. It's going to come a time where you either in or you out. Right? And doing whatever is right in your own eyes, which we see all so often. Not my God. My God wouldn't be this way. My God wouldn't do this. My God, not that. I don't believe the Bible. My God would put that had to be wrote by men. Listen, the end of you doing whatsoever is right in your own eyes is darkness and death. And it's going to come a time where right now we got grace, but that's going to be over. That's going to be over. Right now, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. The kingdom to come, it's not going to be no wicked, is going to be done. It's going to be the earth is given to the righteousness. And that rulership, them ways of right, is eternal. There's no going back. You was going to add something?
Yeah, I was looking at the famous Christian quote.
The famous Christian quote?
It's John 3:16.
Oh, word, there you go. Yeah.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Because we end up with this other doctrine of what I believe, how I feel, when we start dealing with Christians, right? And that's what leads us astray with everything else.
Or I think.
Because I have a deep emotion, but so does a pedophile when he looks on the 3-year child. Right?
Oh,
So does a murderer when this is his life. Right? That what they feel in their heart. So they're moved by a strong emotion. When it says the heart of man is desperately wicked above all things, who could know it? Right? So now we see that the heart. That's why it says we rather obey God than man. Because we know we're flawed.
Yep. And when we realize we're wrong, what we give ourselves into is wrong, but we like it, what do? we find ways to excuse it. We find ways to make it right. Yeah, it's wrong that I killed him, but wait, no, I really wasn't wrong because he would have killed me, or I ain't have no choice. It's dog eat dog out here. This you find ways to excuse it. That's all. That's yeah. That's all finding ways of doing what's right in your own eyes, and it changes per individual. Right.
Goes back to our whole topic where we were talking earlier about how it destroys a weaker man.
Mm-hmm.
You get in here and you justify your sin or what you believe, your strong emotions and stuff. Those that are following you are looking up to you for the knowledge, wisdom, and the understanding that they can fall into fault.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, and they learning them same wicked ways. Exactly. Let's go back. Deuteronomy 12, 9.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 12, verse 9. For ye are not as yet come to the rest and to the inheritance which Yahweh your power giveth you. But when ye go over Jordan and dwell in the land which Yahweh your power giveth you to inherit, and when he giveth you rest from all your enemies round about, so that ye dwell in safety, then there shall be a place which Yahweh your power shall choose to cause him his name to dwell there. Thither shall ye bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, your tithes and your heave offerings of your hand, and all your choice vows which ye vow unto Yahweh. And ye shall rejoice before Yahweh your power, ye and your sons, and your daughters, and your men servants, and your maid servants, and the Levite that is within your gate. For as much as he have no part nor inheritance with you, Slakia, take heed to thyself that thou offer not thy burnt offering in every place that thou seest, but in the place which Yahweh shall choose in one of thy tribes, there thou shalt offer thy burnt offerings, and there shalt thou shalt do all that I command thee. Notwithstanding, thou mayest kill and eat flesh in all thy gates.
Mm-hmm.
Whatsoever.
That's for the veggie lights. That's for the veggie lights, right? The burnt offerings, the first of the flock, that was to be brought to Jerusalem, the chosen city. But we was always still allowed to eat flesh even in our gates. Not sacrifices, but you can kill and eat flesh. Go ahead.
Notwithstanding, thou mayest kill and eat flesh in all thy gates. Whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, according to the blessing of Yahweh thy power, which he hath given thee, the unclean and the clean may eat thereof, as of the roebuck and as of the hart.
Pause right there. So it said, "What you can eat the flesh in your gates, whatsoever your soul lusteth after." This is another one. The whatsoever part. This is another example of whatsoever, whosoever is still tied to a certain standard or context. Whatsoever your soul lusteth after, does it now mean swine? Does it now mean rabbits? It doesn't. But wait a minute, it says the unclean and the clean may eat thereof. You can eat unclean animals. Once again, is talking about it's talking about the unclean person, and the clean person may also eat thereof, because why? Those sacrifices that you brought and was to eat before the Lord, and the priest was to eat their portion of it. Who couldn't eat of those sacrifices once that animal was offered up, made holy? Who couldn't eat?
Like somebody probably is unclean.
Somebody unclean, right? If you was unclean, you couldn't partake in eating of these animals that were offered and now made holy. So that covers two things right there. Whatsoever, whosoever is going to be determined by what's already set in place, right? and context. It's not saying whatsoever you want to eat that's unlawful. That'd be a direct contradiction. And it's going to and it tells you in the same sentence, roebuck and hart. Those are lawful, clean animals, right? It doesn't mean now you can just, oh, well, cow's clean, but I just got a lust for shrimp. It's not saying that. The same way, so now it's saying whosoever believes on the name will be saved. That's talking about who he already said he was coming to save. That's why it says that all Israel may be saved in the Lord. That's not saying every single Israelite is going to be saved. Because what about the ones that blaspheme the Holy Spirit? Said never salvation for them. In the Lord, all Israel be saved means guess who's saved in the Lord? Israel. All Israel, where can they find salvation? In the Lord. Not in Esau, not in kingdoms, not in churches, not in which religion's the best religion. All Israel, y'all can be saved in the Lord. Don't mean all Israel will come and be saved in the Lord. But that's whatsoever, whosoever. It's determined on who is being spoken to or what standard is already laid out. Or this would be whatsoever you so lust for. Yeah, I just gave you the dietary law. And as we read down, he reiterates it just in case somebody's simple and says, yeah, that's a Leviticus, though. This is now Deuteronomy. And that was for then. No. As we read on, it's going to go through the what's clean, unclean again. So whatsoever, once again, it's saying whatsoever you lust after, that's actually considered food for you to consume. That's what it means.
We also see in the book of Genesis where the Most High put a distinction between what is unclean and clean, even on the ark. Right? Even when we go into the wilderness, the Lord didn't drop quail and pig; He dropped quail with man.
And real quick, right? You mentioned the ark. I ain't gonna cut you off totally, but I like what you just brought out. He differentiated clean and unclean before the ark. And then he came back with Noah and he said, whatever flesh you want to eat, you can eat. And some people take that to mean at that time that you could eat unclean meats. No, he didn't have to tell Noah that. Noah already knew what was clean and unclean. Once again, he was talking about something that's already established, and Noah didn't have to be told anything this of the clean beast you can eat. No, he already knew. So the Lord told him, whatever flesh you lust after, you can eat. He already established clean, unclean. Keep going. Your point. That was it. So yeah, but I like that you brought that out because once again, there's where, something's already established and it hasn't changed even from Genesis. Even that this is thousands of years after the flood. And he still got clean and unclean, showing what? It don't change. It don't go away. There's animals that are for consumption. There's animals that aren't for your consumption.
The other books are carryovers from Genesis.
So yeah, those are mighty points. And on that clean and unclean, Deuteronomy 15:22, I'll read it this real quick. It shows it when further down in Deuteronomy 15, it says, thou shalt eat it within thy gates. The unclean and the clean person shall eat it alike, as the roebuck and as the hart. So see, later on chapters down, he brings back the same point, but he adds in there, in case you didn't get it the first time, I'm talking about unclean and clean persons. Not now it's okay to eat, if you're at home, you can eat unclean animals. You can eat clean animals, whatever you lust after. No, now, because you're within your gates. Yeah, those of you that couldn't come and eat the holy because you're unclean, it's okay within your gates when y'all just eating to sustain yourself. It's okay there, right? Verse 16, Deuteronomy 12.
Verse 16, only ye shall not eat the blood, ye shall pour it upon the earth as water.
Mm-hmm.
Thou mayest not eat within thy gates the tithe of thy corn, or of thy wine, or of thy oil, or of the firstlings of thy herds, of thy flocks, nor any of thy vows which thou vowest, nor thy free will offerings, or heave offering, or thine hand. But thou must eat them before Yahweh thy power in the place which Yahweh thy power shall choose, thou and thy son, and thy daughter, and thy manservant, and thy maidservant, and the Levite that is within thy gates. And thou shalt rejoice before Yahweh thy power in all that thou puttest thine hand unto.
So, what if you was of another nation? What did you have to be to eat of the holy?
Of another nation?
Yeah, it says right there in that text.
A manservant
or maidservant. That's what you had to be to eat of the holy. Other than that, you couldn't eat of it. Just showing once again, like, yeah, other nations are welcome to make the Most High their God. Underneath for who though? Yahshua. It's always been that way. The kingdom to come is that way. I don't understand how it's not clear that they'll cleave unto you or be taken captive, whose captives they were. And that's when they be brought to the land. That's the only way. Is under Israel. But with all that arguments, the real problem ain't even that. The real problem is who's Israel. The real problem is not you niggas. That's the real problem. Because let's say we don't know who Israel is. Then I bet you if nobody claims Israel, I bet you then they'll agree. Yeah, in the kingdom, whoever's of another nation is going to serve Israel. The problem is, wait, y'all think y'all the Israelites? We ain't serving you niggas. That's the whole problem.
That is the problem.
It ain't what the Bible say. It ain't the word. Not on that part. It's who is Israel and who's starting to realize it and claim it. And that's a major problem. That's a major problem because the right people are claiming it, and that means it's going to grow. And that means eventually, that means the end is coming closer and closer.
It is the problem must be in it. And it's also a problem that you got black white supremacists that are in these groups and they coon for them too as well. Mm-hmm. And don't want to see who they truly are or can't see it. Maybe the Most High put the blinders on them, because it's a Hebrew group that I'm in. And it's all these white supremacists that have infiltrated it. Mm-hmm. And I don't even say nothing to them, but I just post the information so that people can see it. Mm-hmm. But under the comments, you'll see like 20 comments of these white supremacists saying little racist stuff to you, how y'all people, and don't have no scriptures. And then on the flyers that I have made for y'all, I post them in the group. But you don't got nothing to refute it. You just got insults to refute.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Insults. Because it ain't about the information being incorrect. It's about not y'all. It's the hatred coming out. It's this true spirit of who you are coming out. That's that Esau coming out.
Try to say that we Esau and that we are the seed of the fall and stuff like that.
Look, they say anything.
Stuff with no information.
Anything. Another proof of who's not the chosen, because they haven't been given understanding of the book, but they have access to it. You got access to it, but you can't even use it to refute or prove your points.
Dude flat out wrote under the post, one of the posts, "Oh, I'm not reading all that. Y'all not the people." He literally wrote that. I'm not reading that. Y'all are not the people.
Mm-hmm. That just goes along with the whole all blacks are from Africa thing. It's just another one. Because the majority of the land with the only land that's majority black is Africa. Now all black people come from Africa, as if that's like the one y'all couldn't fully conquer. The only problem is you guys will burn if you get in there and you become the majority. The reason that's still majority black is because you can't survive in there sunny heat.
I was watching this other. It was crazy to land me back on what you're saying. I was watching this video maybe like 2-3 weeks ago, and it was people that's darker than us from a place called Oceania, but they don't have no ties to mainland Africa, and they blacker than us. You know what I mean? So you trying to say all black people is Africans, and these people is blacker than most Africans, and ain't even never seen Africa, ain't never stepped foot in the mainland Africa, and their descendants is not, their markers don't even lead back to Africa, but you trying to say all black people is Africans. Like, that's foolishness right there.
But that's what we get when the wicked are in power, and that's what you get. That's what you get from the those with dominion. They could get to set his story. History becomes his story. Whatever he wants to put forth, whatever he wants to hide, he can throw it in the basement of a museum. Whatever he wants to bring out, allow to be brought out. He has the power to control that. That's why they want everything to be digital and everything to be on these computers or through these servers, because then they can really control what's put out, what's hid, and what's.
But they've been doing it. That's why they burnt the libraries in Timbuktu. That's why we wasn't allowed to read or write in slavery, and they was able to paint the narrative. Captain Tazari, I watched something on it where he was on a panel, on a Christian panel, and he was tearing them apart. I ain't gonna hold you. He was dismantling them, and they just couldn't handle it. And the white dude gonna have the nerve to say, if what you're saying is true, how come nothing is documented since up until the 1800s? And Tazari was breaking it down how we was getting beat during slavery, wasn't allowed to read or write or whatever, and it was passed down through oral tradition who we was ever since slavery. He's like, but you trying to tell me that black people didn't know how to read and write back then? Yeah, we didn't know how to read and write then because we wasn't allowed to read and write back then. And you stupid enough to think that we'd be able to document that, and then Esau, who is our oppressor, will allow us to publish things of that nature and pass it around to our people, and we saying that we the chosen people. When you got white supremacists who try to say that y'all the perfect Aryan race, or whatever. You know what I mean? And the person who the so-called saying Aryan come from, what his name was, Arianus or something, he wasn't even a so-called white man. He was a black man who went into Europe, and that's where the saying Aryan came from, was a so-called black man named Arianus. So they're not even the Aryans, which mean the pure race.
Hey, going on that point, 2nd Ezra 14:21, right? Just showing that is a way that they change history. They just changed the whole narrative. They changed law. They changed religion. They changed history by burning it away. Verse 21.
2nd Ezra 14:21.
Started 20.
2nd Ezra 14:20. Behold, Yahweh will go as thou.
I will go.
Oh, I will, Salaki. Thank you. Behold, Yahweh, I will go as thou hast commanded me, and reprove the people which are present. But they that shall be born afterwards, who shall admonish them, thus the word is set in darkness, and they that dwell therein are without light. For thy law is burnt, therefore no man knoweth the things that are done of thee, or work that shall begin. So
the law is burnt. The law is burnt. The history is burnt. And it said they did this so that no man would know the things that are done of thee. Why would they want to make those things disappear? So that they could bring forth their religion. Why would they want to make your history disappear? So they can bring forth and tell you what they want you to think your history is. Right. This is how they make people forget who they are, forget what they're meant for, forget what's required of them by burning their books. by burning what's written, the law, because if what's written is burnt, if the records are burnt, everything is based off of oral tradition, oral passed down, and through time. Tell a secret in the ear of one person in a room of 20 people, and pass that secret down the line, and what comes back to your ear when the 20th person whispers it back into your ear, something totally different. So if I burn what's written, I can change things and I can paint my own narrative. I can make up history as I want it.
Tell his story.
Yeah, I can tell. He can tell his story.
Can we go to 16? Right above it?
Mm-hmm.
For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter.
Come.
For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much more evil increase upon them that dwell therein.
Mm-hmm.
For the time is fled far away.
The truth.
And leasing.
Hold up. For the truth
Mm-hmm.
is fled far away, it says. How do they change the truth? Burn the records. Go ahead.
Scrub the crime scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then rewrite their own.
Forward division with a sword.
Mm-hmm.
For the time is fled far away, and leasing is hard.
Does yours say time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mine say time too.
Yes.
This one says. This one says truth. My bad. I'm correcting you. It says truth on this one. I'm on 1611. Let me double check my book. But hey, the
If
truth.
you say the truth on it, because I'm reading it too.
Okay. Yeah. See the.
Mine say time on it.
Let me see what my physical book says.
And it's speaking subjectively to the very first point made in 16.
And the time is talking about the truth though.
Yeah. So it's supposed to say truth. But yeah, time is. But like on the physical book, it says truth. But go ahead. Go ahead. But it's still changed by burning burning the written records. Con. Go ahead.
For the time is fled far away, and leasing is hard at hand. For now hasten the vision to come, which thou hast seen.
Mm-hmm. Con.
And like we're saying, when the military went into under the Obama administration, when they went into 7 different nations doing a bunch of killing, their first moves that they made were the libraries.
Mm-hmm.
They went after the libraries and the museums.
Yeah.
Right? Because these are nations who are witnesses to who the true Israel is.
Mm-hmm.
And since that machine is ran by the small hats, their job is still, their chief initiative is to scrub this day from us. Mm. But the light is still shining.
Right.
Right.
So where were we at? Let's go back.
We're at 20.
We're at 20.
Yeah. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 12, verse 20. When Yahweh thy power shall enlarge thy border, as he hath promised thee, and thou shalt say, I will eat flesh, because thy soul longeth to eat flesh. Thou mayest eat flesh whatsoever thy soul lusteth after. If the place which Yahweh thy power hath chosen to put his name there be too far from thee, then thou shalt kill of thy herd and of thy flock, which Yahweh hath given thee, as I have commanded thee, and thou shalt eat in thy gates whatsoever thy soul lusteth after. Mm-hmm. Even as the roebuck and the hart is eaten, so shalt eat them. The unclean and the clean shall eat of them alike. Only be sure that thou eat not the blood, for the blood is the life, and thou mayest not eat the life with the flesh. Thou shalt not eat it, thou shalt pour it upon the earth as water. Thou shalt not eat it, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee. When thou shalt do that which is right in the sight of Yahweh, only thy holy things which thou hast and thy vows, thou shalt take and go unto the place which Yahweh will choose. And thou shalt offer thy burnt offerings, the flesh and the blood upon the altar of Yahweh thy power. And the blood of the sacrifices shall be poured out upon the altar of Yahweh thy power, and thou shalt eat the flesh. Observe and hear all these words which I command thee, that it may go well with thee and with thy children after thee forever, when thou dost that which is good and right in the sight of Yahweh thy power. When Yahweh thy power shall cut off the nations from before thee, whither thou goest to possess them, and thou succeedest them, and dwellest in their land. Take heed to thyself, that thou be not snared by following them, after that they be destroyed from before thee, and that thou inquire not after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods? Even so will I do likewise. And that's crazy because we just seen that, like you said, with that 4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt not do so unto Yahweh thy power, for every abomination to Yahweh which he hateth have they done unto their gods. For even their sons and daughters they have burnt in the fire to their gods. What thing soever I command you, observe to do it, thou shalt not add thereunto nor diminish from it.
Mm-hmm.
Want to read the next chapter?
Okay.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 13, verse 1. If thou arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and giveth thee a sign or a wonder, if the sign or the wonder come to pass, therefore he spake unto thee, saying, let us go after other gods, which thou hast not known, and let us serve them. Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of the prophet or that dreamer of dreams. For Yahweh thy power proveth you, to know whether you love Yahweh thy power with all your heart and with all your soul.
So he's laying down what? This test is gonna come with some very strong evidences, because ain't this one way that you prove a prophet to be a real prophet?
Yeah.
By him prophesying and it coming true, right? But that's why the part that's thrown in there is he's trying to bring you into it's white Jesus that's doing this. Caesar Bow or Muhammad or Buddha or anything other than the Most High God. He comes with this evidence that's hard to refute. Prophesying and it come to pass. Showing the importance of that don't matter. It's one God and no other gods. Right? And one of the ways they come to is it's always, I had a dream. I was dreaming. It was so real. I saw the angel of the Lord took me up out of my bed while I was dreaming, and this, that, and the third, and said, next week, U.S. is going to start dropping strikes on Tehran. And it just so happened that, next week, dropping strikes on Tehran, but he told you, just worship white Jesus. Nah, that's a test. Thou shalt have no other God but me. But that's how to come. He's letting us know, no matter what, is never any other guys you follow, no matter what the proofs, evidences may be. Keep going.
Oh, excuse me. Or they'll say, I saw Jesus.
Yeah.
Nobody ever asked them what color was he.
Yep.
Or
they'll say, they'll say his color. I saw Jesus, and it was the one, the white one that's in everybody's living room. It really is.
Yeah, me and the brother Aviyah one year, we was out doing street teaching, and we had the picture of Caesar Borgia, and we had the depiction of Yahweh Shah, the world calls Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? And we was out doing the teaching in front of this laundromat in Worcester, and we started bringing out Daniel 10:6 and Revelation chapter 1, and we dropped down 13 and 14. And we read it to dude. And dude got upset with us because we gave him the depiction. He said, nah, that's not the depiction of Jesus, because I saw Jesus in the dream. And it was the white Jesus. And he got mad at us and walked off. And we gave you the depiction straight out of the scriptures. And it didn't fit what you said was in your dream. And he got mad with us for what the Bible said.
I'll give you another example. I just thought about it. One that might be even more believable. Yaju. So say that brother Yaju, say he come around. Yaju, he come around and he started giving you prophecies and say it'd be like, yeah, the pick 3 for tomorrow. He gives you the pick 3 for tomorrow, right? And it hits. And then he says something, he just predicts something like the score for the next Phillies game. And it's right on the money. And then he predicts something about 3 oil tankers are going to get hit next week, and they all get hit. These are all things that can happen coincidentally, for real. I mean, it's not going to be very often you find somebody to hit all those 3 on the head like that. But you see that, and he's saying, yeah, I am him. And then he gives you these signs, and you're going to sit and you're going to medal on that. And some people are going to say, guess what they're going to say? I'm following you, Yaju. But Yaju didn't come the way Yahweh said that Christ was going to come back. Right? But that's a good example of he giving you the sign and it come true. It'll be stuff like that. It'll be, might be menial things like he predicts the pick 3 for tomorrow. And then at the same token in time, the exact score of the Phillies game 2 days later. And then next week, he said 3 oil tankers are going to get hit with strikes, and 3 oil tankers get hit with strikes. And now you're like, oh, I might need to follow him. And then you find all the doctrines he got, which is crazy. They take you away from following the Most High.
Scripture, 2 Thessalonians 2:9. And the scripture shows us that the Lord uses all things unto himself, even the wicked for the day of evil. So he'll sift with this. Even him who's coming after the workings of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause, Yahweh shall send them a strong delusion, that they should believe a lie.
That part in verse 10, the love of the truth. What's the truth? The truth is the word, it's the law. At the end of the day, this false prophet and you worshiping other gods comes down to you keeping the law, the commandments, or not. Because that's the doctrine that they're going to be coming with. So that's the part it doesn't say there. It says bring you after other gods. You sitting here thinking, well, I know I'm not, if they took, that's the easy part. Oh, he says, yeah, he predicts the future, it comes true, but he says, bow down to this rock. I'm not doing that. He's having me worship other gods. But he's not teaching you bow down to the rock. He's telling you, you're God. You don't got to do the laws. That was for this, that, and third, a different time. He's taking you away from your obedience, but giving you these signs that make you think maybe he is the one. Maybe he is Christ come back. Maybe he is the Son. And maybe his doctrines are true. You're deceived by what was in you already, that you didn't have a love for the truth.
And we know that Israel is the choice vine as the Most High. And just as a farmer, he tends his vine. He's always plucking and purging off things that should not be amongst the vine. So he'll use that as a rod as well. That Israel is always under the subjection of the correction and the purging of a Most High God to keep it pure. So he'll allow the wicked to come amongst and draw out the wicked because he's always sifting
pruning. Pruning
if he's proving us, he's
yep.
sifting the wicked.
Con.
You can't get one without the other.
Con. Good point. Let's go back. Where we at?
The book,
verse 3 or 4. I think
4.
so. 4.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 13, verse 4. You shall walk after Yahweh your power and fear him, and keep his commandments and obey his voice. And ye shall serve him and cleave unto him.
See that? Why does he come back and say that? Because that false prophet, that's the main thing he's taking you from. Not keeping the commandments, not serving him. That's how he's taking you away from the Most High. So you can't just be looking for like trinkets, statues, physical idols. Go ahead.
And that prophet of that, or that dreamer of dreams, shall be put to death, because he has spoken to turn you away from Yahweh your power, which brought you out of the land of Egypt and redeemed you out of the house of bondage.
You can't just look for names. Like that's the whole Jesus thing. You can't just wait for him to say, come and worship Molech, come and worship Estar. He's going to tell you, come and worship the Most High God. But he's making you worship something different. Go ahead.
And redeemed you out of the house of bondage, to thrust thee out of the way which Yahweh your power commanded thee to walk in. So shalt thou put the evil away from the midst of thee. If thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or the wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, which is as thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known, thou nor thy fathers, namely of the gods of the people which are round about you, nigh unto thee, or far off from thee, from the one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. Thou shalt not consent unto him, nor hearken unto him. Neither shall thine eye pity him, neither shalt thou spare, neither shalt thou conceal him, but thou shalt surely kill him. Thine hand shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hand of all the people. And thou shalt stone him with stones, that he die, because he hath sought to thrust thee away from Yahweh thy power, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage.
Mm-hmm.
And all Israel shall hear and fear, and shall do no more any such wickedness as this is among you. If thou shalt hear it say in one of thy cities, which Yahweh thy power hath given thee, to dwell there, saying, certain men, the children of Belial, are gone out from among you, and have withdrawn the inhabitants of their city, saying, let us go and serve other gods, which ye have not known. Then shalt thou inquire and make search, and ask diligently, and behold, if it be truth in the thing certain that such abomination is wrought among you, thou shalt surely smite the inhabitants of the city with the edge of the sword, destroying it utterly. And
so real quick, they always say God is love. God is only love. Right? Isn't that what they say?
God, this is what love looks
Sometimes this is what love looks like. But that's always the argument. That argument comes when you're talking a little rough. That argument comes when you're bringing out some judgments. That's not godly. God is love, because you're bringing out rebuke. God said the person that tries to come and convince you to worship idols, to not worship me, man, I'm do away with him. I don't want him in the midst. Stone him. And now it's going in the same thing. This city, the men of this city, get rid of them. Send them back to me. Like you said, sometimes this is love. This is the Most High form of love. Go ahead.
Thou shalt surely smite the inhabitants of the city with the edge of the sword, destroying it utterly, and all that is therein, and the cattle thereof with the edge of the sword. And thou shalt gather all the spoil of it into the midst of the street thereof, and shalt burn with fire the city. And all
you
the
see how you
spoil
get rid of
thereof.
everything? Like the first thing we talked about, right? This is a city where these cats are trying to go worship Baal, worship other gods. Everything in that city burned with fire. What's the spoil? Because it says, and gather the spoil of it in the midst street thereof. What's the spoil?
We're here.
Period. What's the spoil? The spoil is when you conquer a nation, the goods that is valuable. That's the spoil. This city, none of that. Put the spoil in the middle of the city. Because what can leaving any residue of this city of what they had and they believed in? What's leaving it going to do? Leaving that little residue is going to what? It's just like a seed is going to grow into something bigger. Somebody is going to see that and learn it. It's going to love it. It's going to grow. Somebody's going to take something from the spoil and turn around and start following these gods again.
It's like when Saul didn't kill Agag. You know what I mean? Out of Agag came the Amalekites. You know what I mean? And then from him came Haman. And down out of them came Alexander the Greek. You know what I mean? And so on and so forth. And we was told to kill every male. And he didn't do it. So then now we suffering the torments of them. Because now you got Amalek. He ruling the world right now. And he was told to put King Agag to death. And he just didn't do it. And Saul didn't listen.
So you're supposed to get rid of everything. Physically, everything. But guess what also? That's what we're supposed to be doing mentally. Clearing the house. Clearing the city. Clearing the land of our minds of all that BS that we learned from the world. All their doctrines, their beliefs, what love is. Don't even know what love is. You correcting me. That's hateful. Like that's love, and that's the type of stuff you gotta get out of your mind.
The lessons that were given to us in the wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
We're still in the wilderness of these captives.
Where we at?
Verse 16, and thou shalt gather all the spoil of it into the midst of the street thereof, and shalt burn with fire the city, and all the spoil thereof, every whit, for Yahweh thy power, and it shall be an heap forever. It shall not be built again. And there shall cleave naught of the cursed thing to thine hand, that Yahweh may turn from the fierceness of his anger, and show thee mercy, and have compassion upon thee, and multiply thee, as he hath sworn unto thy fathers. When thou shalt hearken to the voice of Yahweh thy power, to keep all his commandments, which I command thee this day, to do that which is right in the eyes of Yahweh thy power.
Another reason why they want us in sin. Why they want us in sin? For the affliction, exactly. To keep us from, verse 17, the mercy. To keep us from the compassion. And keep us from being returned to the kingdom.
Keep us from multiplying.
For their rule over us.
To lengthen their days, to stretch out the time of their kingdom. This is why. That was the end of it, right? So we're going to stop there. That was what, chapter 13. So next week, chapter 14. Anybody questions? You want to add something before we close out? No? All right.
If anybody want to hit me up, and they want Holy Day calendar or whatever, hit me up. I'll gladly send them the Holy Day calendar. You just text me on the number at the bottom of the screen, 508-840-7710. I also have lessons that you can do with your family. that are the holy days and tell you what to do on the holy days and why we do on each holy day that we celebrate. Some that are not listed on the calendar as well. And I will also send those to you as well. Again, you can text me at 508-840-7710 if you are in need of any of these things.
God, all praise. So, yeah, with that, we close out. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bashem, Mashiach, Yahweh Shai. Remember, if it's in your will to donate, please do so. Send to the Cash App, Hebrew Chosen Elect. And, you know, that's it. So, see y'all next week. Shabbat Shalom and Kwame Yashala.
Kwame Yashala.